we're going to go through some color schemes or color harmonies, and we're using the color wheel to do this. The color wheel was invented so that we could understand color better and its relationship, and it really is easy to use this to make these relationships. Now you'll notice these circles are our primaries. When you are doing yours, if you change the order of the circles, it doesn't really matter, because the primary or the secondary and the tertiary that you have between yellow and orange will always be the same no matter where you put the three primaries. So it doesn't really matter where you put them, it'll all be the same. Now with analogous are colors that are right next to each other on the color wheel. And with this, if I had, say, a yellow, if I had a yellow, and then an analogous color to that yellow would be either this orange or this green. Either of those are analogous, and in fact I could even spread it from just two colors, like my arrows are showing me, to three colors. And this one we have our red, and it's pointing to the one next to it, so you can just do your primary and then what's next to it. Now you can fill these in with paint or with colored pencil. If your paint isn't working on the paper, you could print this out and on cardstock and use that, but you should be able to even use paint if you print it out on cardstock, or you can just draw up your own. You could even use boxes instead of the color wheel, but using the color wheel helps you understand what's going on there. Now with complementary, we have used complementary countless times, and most of you are familiar with that. Whatever's across on the color wheel, so you can spin that any direction. If you wanted to go this way and have the purpley red and the lime green, you could use those. It doesn't really matter. You can use two tertiaries, a primary and a secondary. You will never use two primaries, because there are no two primaries that are across from each other. Now if you're going to split the complement, and so our yellow is here, we won't be using the complement across from the yellow, which is purple. That is not our complement. But if we split it and go each direction, then we will get a split there. So we get the reddish purple and then the blue violet there. So that's our split complement. If we want to do a double split, we will simply skip one, and then we go across from each of those. So I think some people refer to that also as a double complement, because you can tell these are both complements of each other. Now a triad, we just have to go in three equal measurements. So a triad can naturally be our primary colors because they are spaced equally, right? So that can be a triad, and if you notice, that's like Superman colors. That's pretty vibrant. Bubblegum ice cream, things like that. So, but this triad, we've used our secondaries. You can switch your triad to use tertiaries as well. But with this secondary, we've got our violet, and our orange, and did that again, and our green. Okay, so anyway, a triad is a tried and true tested method. This one is a more mellow, usually, feel to it, because they're all similar. You get here and you're all over the color wheel, so it's usually more vibrant. You can subdue it by doing tones or tints so that it's not so vibrant. Now with our tetrad, we go again with the complements, but they're completely across from each other on that color wheel. And you notice that we're using a couple tertiaries right there. Primary, secondary, and tertiary is in between them. And we'll grab a primary there. If you're going across from the primary, it's always a secondary, right? So again, you can spin those arrows any way on the wheel, or keep the arrows there and spin the wheel, and you will get different combinations. So try those out and see what you can come up with. But another interesting thing for you to do is to pull up a painting and see if you can identify what color scheme that painting is. What colors do you see in it? So start naming those colors or putting your finger on them on the color wheel and seeing if you can identify what the artist did. There are a lot of artists that use these harmonies in different paintings.